Good afternoon. I want to welcome you all here today. Today's speech is going to be on the importance of a college education and, in my experience, how that relates back to wages and also opportunity. So first off, an experience of mine I want to share with everybody here is wages, okay, in relation to college education. Leaving high school, I thought I would just work hard, be tenacious, put the hours in, and these are all good traits. But I learned quickly that it will only take you so far. One example. Early on, starting my mining career in the industry I was in, I had a supervisory position. A gentleman hired on the exact same time I did. The responsibilities were the same. The job was the same. Everything in this job, everything was the same. We got to talking like some friends do after you get to know somebody. Probably shouldn't have. And we started discussing salaries. He opened up to me about his, and I opened up to him about mine. And I did the math on it, and this gentleman was making about 15% more than I was. And I was shocked and upset, naturally. And we started talking more and more and come to find out this gentleman was educated. He'd gone to college for 4 years. He got himself an engineering degree, and he did good for himself. And to tell you the truth, when I left high school, I wasn't planning on going to college. It's something I talked about but never really took serious because I thought, I'd work hard. But I found out quickly working hard would only take me to certain levels, and that I was going to need something more. And I've found out, being in college, that I have learned quite a bit more, and I was missing out on parts of education that I should have had. One of them, speech, writing, presentations. All this has gotten better for me in the form of presence of going back to school. Now, looking into this a little bit further, I started reading a few articles here and there. One that seemed to point out was one from USA Today. I believe it was written by Mary Beth McLean, and I got the shortcut up here, if you can read it. If not, I'll put it in the description just to cover the basis. But in this article, it was really interesting to see, okay? If you go back and you look at this article, some of the important things here, and a thing that stinks out in my head, is investing in a college degree may be more than important than ever before. And I'm going to point back to some statistics here in a minute that will kind of relate to that. But one part of this article that was interesting was some data that came from the Federal Reserve Bank. Now, in this study, it goes from age ranges 16 to 64, and the study goes from 1970 to 2013. And some of the interesting numbers that stuck out there for me, one of them was the return of investment. The return on investment was about 15 to 20%, depending on what field of study you took, if you had a bachelor's degree or higher. Now, with that being said, the drop-off there was amazing to see if you didn't have the college education. They broke it up into 3 different categories. Now, some of those categories were obviously just high school education, 2 was an associate's degree, and 3 was a bachelor's degree. Now, looking in this, one thing to be said was the earning factor. The earning factor for somebody with a college education, a bachelor's degree, versus somebody who came straight out of high school was like 56% more. And when you look at an associate's degree, it was 21% more. So even going to school for 2 years was better than not going to school at all. Although I do suggest you go to school for all 4 years. But just to give you an idea here, if you can look at the colored graphs, and I put a link down here too for the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you can type in college education versus high school education, and you'll get many graphs, okay? Now, one particular graph here I want to point out, the red represents a high school diploma, the green represents high school graduates, no college, the purple is some college or an associate's degree, and the blue is a bachelor's degree or higher, okay? Now, it starts out at $0 to $1,200, and it goes from 2005 to 2009. Now, this is what's interesting. This graph here, if you fast forward and do like a 2017 to like a 2007 or 2010, it really doesn't change much. Meaning, in 2005, if you had your basic high school diploma or less, you were making around $600 a week, okay? You fast forward 5 years later, you're making $26 more, okay? Now, you look at it in as terms of a bachelor's degree, you can obviously see that you're making upwards of $1,000 in 2005 and $1,137 in 2009, which these numbers have actually gone up since then. And the interesting thing is some of the college numbers have gone up, but yet the high school level has stayed the same. But the bigger difference here, if you flip this down, I'm going to tie this into opportunity for just a moment. If you look at this, this is an unemployment chart. Red is the same thing as high school, or less than high school. Green is the high school education, purple is an associate's, and blue is the college unemployment rate. Now, if you look at 1992 to 2009, that's a 17-year study, and you're looking at about, what, 4% to a little over 6% in unemployment rate for somebody who has a college education. Bounce that off of somebody who's without a high school diploma, or even a high school diploma, just that's it. You're looking at almost doubling the unemployment factor. Okay? So yes, it does create opportunity. Now, in relation to my experience with an opportunity, I've taken on many jobs throughout my career. I've had many interviews, and a few interviews were pretty high level. Now, my cutoff point was the college education. I would hear that I'm a very hard worker. I know my job, very knowledgeable, you would hear non-stop good things. And that's not me bragging. That's me simply saying it would stop, because it would ask me, what about a college education? Do you have a bachelor's degree? Do you have an associate's degree? Do you have something that says you went to college? And I, of course, would answer with no. I haven't even started college. And sure enough, I'd get a return letter back saying, hey, thank you for applying, but we decided to move on without you. And I felt that the interview was going great. So I do believe in some sense, yes, that did hurt me quite a bit. In closing, I do want to say this. Now, I have heard friends, family, coworkers, everybody say, why are you going back to school at such a late age? You're doing good for yourself. Why do you want to go out and get a college education? One, for me, it's a personal goal for me. I've set that goal to go back to school because I want to get my degree, because I always said I was going to and just put it off. Two, it is wages. In my position, I could probably earn a good 15-20% more if I had a college education. And three, opportunity. I want to go further than what I'm doing now, and a lot of the jobs I want to take, I can't get there without a college education. Okay? But when you do hear those things like, it's nothing more than a piece of paper, it just means you went to school longer. Not necessarily, because I will tell you this. If you take it serious and you use it effectively, a college education will open up all kinds of opportunities in jobs, wages, and experiences. Thank you.